So starting with question 14, what I've done here first is just jotted down the information that was given in the question. Now, seeing as it's a speed, distance and time question, I've just put down our daddy's silly triangle in the corner just to help keep myself reminded of what we're doing. So the information that's given to me is that Harry travelled a distance of 50 kilometres. I don't know what his speed is, so I'm calling that X, and that his time was 2 hours less than what Kira took. Kira's distance was 35 kilometres. Her speed was 5 kilometres per hour slower than Harry's, and her time, there was no constraints on that, so I've just put in the formula just to remind myself of what I'll be using. So if we write down in words the first part of it, how much time it took. So Harry's time is equal to the time Kira took minus 2 hours. So according to our triangle, if I want to find time, I must divide distance by speed. So Harry's 50 kilometres divided by his speed of X is equal to Kira's 35 kilometres divided by her speed of X minus 5, and then subtracting 2 more hours. All I've done here is just turn this into one fraction, so making a common denominator of X minus 5. 35 doesn't need to be multiplied, well, it's multiplied by 1, and then the 2 is multiplied by the X minus 5, as you can see here. Multiply out our top line. I'll just move this up and tidy it up. All I've done here is just cross multiplied. So the top of this side by the bottom of here, top of here by the bottom of here. I can do this because I only have one fraction on each side of an equal sign. That allows me to cross multiply. This is what I get when it's multiplied out. I bring everything over to one side and it forms a quadratic, which I then factorise and solve out. I get one value of X equals minus 25 over 2 and another of X equals 10. Now, the X equals minus 25 over 2 isn't valid because if we remind ourselves back up here, Harry's speed was X, so it's just one of the values that we find, and speed cannot be negative, so it's invalid. The other value of X being equal to 10 tells me that Harry's speed is 10 kilometers per hour. Kira's was Harry's minus 5, so 10 minus 5 gives me the 5 kilometers per hour. And then for the amount of time that was taken, so you can do this a couple of ways. You can go back and say, well, if I'm looking for time, it's going to be distance divided by speed. So Harry's 50 kilometers divided by his speed of 10 gives me a time of 5 hours. And then if we remind ourselves, Kira's is distance divided by her speed, but it's also 2 hours greater than Harry's, so that's the 5 plus the 2, which gives us the 7.